Okay. Hi, I'm Bill. It's February 24th, 2024. And this is like the third take because I'm working with three screens here and I'm not flipping the screens to the monologue. So anyway, let me see if I can get it right this time. The purpose of this video is to do a reveal of my latest version of M42 based upon the data I collected in February. And before I get started, though, I wanted to make you aware that I've started a new series called Meet the Astrophotographer. Episode 1 has already been released, so if you've not seen it, you might want to check it out. It was an excellent interview with an astrophotographer named David, and it was just a great interview. And I had been looking to interview someone that maybe started with a more less sophisticated setup, and he uses a Star Adventure DSLR, and it's a really great interview. It's a perspective that I've wanted to bring to my channel for a long time. And Meet the Astrophotographer, what I hope to accomplish is, you go into my channel, you see the Redcat 51 Gen 2, you see the Edge HD8, and, maybe my Giotto and my Premalucci Lab Giottos and my rotator and those type of things. But there are so many different telescopes out there, so many different cameras, accessories, tools, processing tools. I want to try and bring that perspective to viewers through interviews with other astrophotographers. So if maybe you're new or you're thinking about doing something different, you have a much broader range of ideas to choose from because other astrophotographers have shared a little bit about their astrophotographer self and what they use and how they approach things. My view is this is a have it your way hobby, and there are many different ways to do it, many different tools to do it with. So I hope you would consider joining the series of Meet the Astrophotographer. I'll put an email in the video description where if you're interested, you could drop me a mail. I'll shoot you my private email and we can kind of put the details and answer questions and all that together to get something scheduled. All right, so first thing, let's go about the data acquisition. Just a little piece here. Okay, I changed screens. If you follow the channel, you know I'm a user of Nina now for both my telescopes. And one of my favorite plugins that is available in Nina is Tom Palmer's Target Scheduler. So we can go in here and we can look in my target. And what you'll see here, this was my exposure plan. I wanted 60 exposures of each of the filters, and I was shooting HA, R, G, and B. Now the images you're going to see here, once I reveal them, will not include HA. So that'll be version 3. When I get a little bit more comfortable with my PixInsight skills and how to blend in the HA, then I'll do a version 3. But for right now, you're just going to see RGB. And just quickly, the exposure plan worked like this. Using my ASI 294 MM Pro, I took 2 of each filter. And because I do use filter offsets, when I do a filter change, I don't have to autofocus that filter upon change. So what I do is I take 2 of each filter, and then at the end I do a dither. Saves me a little bit of time over the course of the night on dithering, and so far the data that I'm getting, it seems like every 2 exposures per particular filter to do a dither is working out just fine. And then we can just take a quick look here at under the acquired images. We can just take a look here. What I have displayed here, here are the images that I collected on the 12th of February, and with some basic information about star count, eccentricity, and whether the image was accepted or rejected. Now again, Target Scheduler has the ability to grade your images. You can turn it on or off. I run with it on, and then I make a decision on the ones that they rejected, whether or not I'm going to put it into the stack in PixInsight. So, and then if we look at what I shot on the 11th, here's what I shot on the 11th. But what I like about Target Scheduler is many things, but having the SQLite database so you can look back at your work, see how far along you are in completing your target and those type of things. I love it. And in February, I was able to do 4 targets along one night. Target Scheduler managed all that. It was easy breezy. So something you might want to consider if you're an Enir user and you're not yet familiar with Target Scheduler. Okay, so now let me flip the screens correctly and let's start the reveal. Now, what I'm going to show first is the state after I ran WBPP, and then I also did a linear fit, and this again is just RGB, and then I used channel combination to create this image. And this image as it sits right here, I'm happy with it. You know, if this was all I did, that'd be fine. It gives me enjoyment. You know, and the interview I did with David, what I really loved is how he was sharing as he sits down and he starts to process the data and he starts to see it come together as an image. It just gives him a lot of pleasure. And so, I don't know, you know, leave a comment. You know, I imagine you're probably enjoying the same pleasures as you're processing your images because it's kind of the whole purpose we spend the time to collect the data. But let me know your thoughts on that. So what I have a concern about this image, though, is I've kind of blown out the trapezium. At least I don't see it in there. And this was a 60-second exposure. I knew that this target was going to be a little bit challenging. I read a lot about people doing short exposures and long exposures and using an HDR process to bring it all together, a little bit about beyond where I'm at currently. So next year, if I'm still around, I'll shoot this target again and drop my exposures down to 30 seconds and see what I get. And if there's some other tips that you want to share with me on a better approach to trying to capture the data for this image, be happy to listen to it. So the other thing I wanted to show is that image is now up on Astrobin, and I always put the information so other astrophotographers, if they're going to be doing an image for the first time, can get a feel for what I did, and in particular what I did as far as exposure count, exposure length, and which filters I used to maybe get them in the ballpark. I know that's how I do it. When I'm approaching a new target I have not shot before, I go to Astrobin and I try and get some feel, and I need to put down here, I need to edit this and put what the Bortle scale was. It was actually a Bortle 3 site that I was at, and that's always important information that we have the ability to share with other astrophotographers, and I think it would be a good idea if we always do that. So the information will be there along with my other images if you want to take a look at them. I have a bunch of images in the queue that I hope to not go out over the next month or two and get caught up and work that queue down to nothing. All right, so drum roll please. Maybe I'll find a MP3 drum roll that I can put into this video. So this is where I wound up. So basically from up here, my workflow is icon driven, and so after the combine RGB, I ran Grexpert, Solver, Color Calibration, Blur Exterminator, Star Exterminator, Noise Exterminator. I did a histogram transformation. I did another noise exterminator. And then I did another histogram transformation. And then I did, what is this one? Local histogram equalization, multi-scale median transform. Then I did some curves. I did not do dark structure enhance, but then I rescreened the stars. I always, separate the stars out, work on the image, bring it back together. And then I dropped ICC transform to put the right color profile on the images that I wanted to export and display on social media and elsewhere. So this is the this is it for its current state of version 2. I'm happy with it. I enjoyed the process of collecting the data. I hemmed and hawed on whether or not I was going to go any further than here once I saw the core was blown out. But I said, hey, let me see what I can do with it. You can probably tell I like red, so there's probably a red bias in most of the images you're going to view from me. I do like the level of detail in here. I tried not. You want to be careful, I think. You don't want to cook it too much, but I'm happy with this here. I like, there's the Running Man Nebula. So I just wish I would have had the trapezium not blown out. But, there's always next year. And, one of the great things about this target is it's basically a stellar nursery, forging new stars. So that in part is why it makes an exciting target for me and why I enjoyed the process of doing it. So, all right, I think that's about it. I'm open to your feedback, comments, and suggestions. I'm still getting up the PixInsight learning curve. Other than that, if you like to be considered to be interviewed, the email address is in the video description. And I think that's about it. But real quickly, if there's any Nina users out there, just real quickly, I thought I'd show this to you. I've started to use sequencer power-ups, and the first instruction I'm using as part of that plugin is DIY Meridian Flip Trigger. If you see anything wrong with what I have here, if you're a user of sequence power-ups and you use the DIY instruction, I'm open to your feedback. And one of the things I like about it is I can put a alert in, so when it starts to get ready for the flip, I can get a notification sent to my phone that'll wake me up if I'm dozing off in the van. So any comments on that or other pointers would be appreciated. So back to the whole story here. This is it. Thank you for dropping into the channel. Hope you're looking forward to some good weather come the March new moon. I plan to be out at Alamo Lake State Park in Arizona again. I still have an issue with my Edge HD, but I'll get that solved at home before I head out. Other than that, thank you again for dropping into the channel. Please like the video if you do. Those likes are important. See you next time.